Yeah, welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live. We're your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution, cover breaking news, culture, dramatic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. I want to start this show with this quote. There are decades where nothing happens, and then there are weeks where decades happen. And what I'm referring to is recently, over the past week or so, over the last 2 weeks, right? You had the SEC sue not only Binance, but also Coinbase in the US. The week after, BlackRock announced that they are filing to launch a Bitcoin ETF. And then yesterday was rumored that Fidelity was also looking to launch an ETF as well. These are companies that have trillions of dollars assets under management, in the trillions. And according to Rustin, and I did a little bit of research on this as well, when BlackRock files something, they have like a 99% approval record. But more things are happening, right? And this is all happening in the span of 2 weeks, right? This is so much time. It's like the whole rest of the year, like it was just like nothing was really happening in the adoption front, or the regulation front, and then things just started to accelerate like crazy. Well, breaking news: the largest bank in Germany files for a license to custody Bitcoin and also exchange these very, very well-known traditional financial firms, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, are going live to offer Bitcoin and Ethereum trading, right? So this is absolutely massive. And then news from Hong Kong, and we've been talking about Hong Kong for a while now, and we've been making the case that China's playing two sides, right? Technically, Hong Kong is part of China, but China uses this one country, two systems. And in my opinion, they're using kind of Hong Kong as this like isolated testing bed where they could potentially benefit from number go up technology without without allowing it in mainland China, which could potentially threaten the regime over there. Because at the end of the day, governments, they get a tremendous amount of power and their ability to control people by controlling money. Whether that is, the indirect taxation of inflation or just, all out just totalitarian social credit system, central bank digital currency, direct controls. And it's a very interesting article that came out in the Financial Times. And it basically said HSBC and Standard Chartered pressed by Hong Kong regulator to take on crypto clients. How crazy is that? It's the exact opposite of what is happening in the US, where, the Biden administration, if you were to believe the piece by Nick Carter, Operation Choke Point 2.0, what Caitlin Long is saying, where regulators are actually trying to isolate the industry from the traditional financial system. In Hong Kong, they're playing the exact opposite side. And then this plays into the better flag theory, right? Which was talked a lot about in the book, The Sovereign Individual, where people as we transition into the information age and people are able to go to where they're treated best, right? And that's one of the powers that Bitcoin gives you if you take self-custody, right? Bitcoin gives you two abilities. It gives you the power to vote with your feet, and it also gives you the power to vote with your money, right? It was a lot harder to just, okay, I'm leaving the US, I'm going to another jurisdiction, try taking your money with you, right? There's only so much cash you could put on your person. There's only so much gold you can hide on your body, right? Not to mention the laws that are already implemented where you're traveling. If let's say you're taking an international airline, they require you to report if you have $10,000 in assets on your person, right? So if you have over $10,000 in cash, they require you to report it, right? That completely changes all of a sudden when you can memorize 12 to 24 words if you're in a pickle, even though I don't recommend that. And you could basically go to where you're treated best. And I think we're going to see an acceleration of this trend and jurisdictions competing for your business, right? We saw this when Jack Mallers, he warned when he did the keynote speech in Washington, D.C. Shout out to our friends from the Bitcoin Policy Institute. In the Bitcoin Policy Summit, which a bunch of U.S. congressmen and senators attended, Mahler started his speech with, hey guys, if you don't get your acts together, I'm going to leave. And then in Bitcoin 2023, during his keynote, what did he say? We're going to move strike headquarters to El Salvador, right? I think governments have to come to terms with this new reality, but it's a very, very exciting future for individuals, because when governments compete for your business, you win, right? So this is a very exciting future that we're heading into. But first, before we start the show, I want to bring up my legendary co-host, always optimistic, always with a giant smile on his face. He sends me a selfie every morning. I tell him not to. I said, dude, you're not texting Chrissy, you're texting Nico. I think you have the wrong number. How you doing, Opti? How you feeling this morning?
Oh, you crack me up. I'm doing wonderful, bro. Great day. It seems like the energy is shifting in our favor. It's something I've kind of been talking about for a while, even though we, what do you say, are slaves to the news cycle. And it seemed to almost get dark for a moment. I was just, hearing through the grapevine and hearing in the wind of like, man, it really does feel like the winds of change are blowing in our direction, and Bitcoin may not be trampled down as much as us paranoid Bitcoiners have thought. And I think we're seeing this happen right now, especially with the institutional floodgates opening up. I think this next bull run is going to be absolutely marvelous. But anyways, I've already speculated. I've already speculated enough on the price this week, so I'm going to avoid that as much as possible today. Let's bring in our boy.
Let's bring in our boy. But I think so too. And let's ask Dennis actually. So we have the man responsible for Bitcoin not passing 58K. We have Dennis, who's part of the 58K gang. How you doing, Dennis?
Yeah, I think you're there. Oh, there you go.
Kind of lagged out.
What's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man. So could you explain to the audience why you have not allowed Bitcoin to pass 58K?
Dude, why'd you stunt the bull run, bro?
So if you guys don't know, I'm Dennis, and I work with 58K Gang to basically create sort of like a pricing mechanism where Bitcoin stays at or around 58K forever. So we've been holding it down for quite a bit now, just because, I don't know, I guess we like class of 2021, and we wanted to give them a better opportunity to stack. So we figured, why not just let them get as much as they can before we get it back to maybe above 58K. But I don't know. I don't think we're going to try and keep it down to 58K for the rest of time, hopefully. So it really depends on how adoption goes, but you guys will pretty much see how everything plays out in the next like 2-3 years.
So we have the man responsible for central bank digital currencies, Opti, in the show today, and we have the man responsible for suppressing the price of Bitcoin, keeping it at a below or near 58K. We have Dennis. So you guys know where to find them. They're on the show today. Let them know your thoughts in the chat. Anyways, everybody, no more delay. Let's jump straight into the show. Let's do it.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Brought to you by Nodl. At this point, you should be running your own Bitcoin node. If you don't use your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. And if you're a digital nomad, you have absolutely no excuse, because now you can run a Nodl through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. All right, everybody, I want to tell you about the largest Bitcoin conference on the face of the earth, Bitcoin 2024. That's right. It's not going to be in Miami this year. It's going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, July 25th through the 27th, 2024. And you can take advantage of the early bird ticket specials. For a GA ticket, it's only $299. For an industry day pass, I recommend that one if you're trying to get a job in the industry, only $749. And a whale pass for $4,499. And you could take advantage of the promo code SIMPLY to get yourself a nice discount to Bitcoin 2024, the largest Bitcoin conference on the face of the earth. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $27,240. Sats per dollar, 3,672. Block height, 795,203. Reachable Bitcoin node, 17,096. blocks to halving 44,797. Halving estimates April 20th, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity 5,425 Bitcoin. Capacity value to about 147 million US dollars. The realized monetary inflation, my favorite stat out of everything because it continues to embarrass fiat currencies, is 1.76%. And the market capitalization of Bitcoin, $528 billion. Today I want to talk about double standards. Rules for thee and not for me. So we all know about SBF. We all know about FTX. We all know about the debacle going on there. But we also know that SBF donated to the political elite class, the leadership class. He was a big donator to the Democratic Party, which is currently in charge of the executive branch and currently in charge of the Senate, even though they lost the House recently. But also beneath the table, not only was he donating to the Democrats, he was also donating to the Republicans. And what tends to happen is if you donate to the right political parties, you play by a different rule set. So I find this really interesting. U.S. withdraws new charges in SBF case, punts them to 2024. Why is 2024 interesting? 2024 is the year of the U.S. election. Anyways, it goes on to say, federal prosecutors asked a judge on Thursday to remove 5 charges against alleged crypto fraudster SBF, including bribery of a foreign government official after a Bahamas court case cast doubt on whether the U.S. government had followed the correct procedure for bringing the charges against the former billionaire. SBF's legal team had previously argued, both U.S. and Bahamian judges, that the charges were not part of the FTX founder's original indictment, under which he had been extradited from the Bahamas months earlier. A Bahamian judge said they would review SBF's arguments earlier this week, prompting the request from federal prosecutors. The charges, however, have merely been severed or punted to 2024, giving the federal government ample time to ensure the conditions of the U.S.-Bahamas extradition treaty have been met and to satisfy concerns from the Bahamian government. The severance means that SBF's legal team will likely now have to gird for 2 legal fights, one to try the original 8-count indictment later this year and another in 2024 for the 5 courts that the federal prosecutors is asked to serve. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams' office is prosecuting Bankman-Fried. He was originally indicted on 8 counts, including conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud over his role in allegedly orchestrating the theft of billions of dollars of customer assets and the collapse of crypto exchange FTX in late 2022. SBF has entered a plea of not guilty and is expected to be tried later this year. Mind you, SBF is currently out on bail as well. So it's really interesting how, in certain cases, right, there is no bail set, even though this man has literally been responsible for the theft of billions of dollars of people, and people like Julian Assange and people like Ross Ulbricht. Who do you think has done more damage to people's lives? Who? Out of all those 3 people, who do you think has done actual more monetary damage to people's lives? Ross Ulbricht, Julian Assange, or SBF? Please let us know down in the comments, because they didn't get any bail. So it's it's a 2-tier justice system. I would call it's really a hierarchy. If you donate to the right, if you donate to the political elite, you get some type of protection. And forgive me for being, the paranoid Bitcoiner that's maybe reading stuff that's not there or stuff between the line, but we have a pretty good record of saying things or claiming things on Simply Bitcoin, and then a couple months later, they turn out to be true. So let's see what happens in this case. But yeah, man, it's just, I think it's an injustice. Why does this guy, even though it's been clear as day, right, that he's hurt a lot of people, that people have lost their life savings because of the FTX blow up, why is he allowed to roam free? Why was he not denied bail? Why is he not in a jail cell? And then why are journalists who, expose, truths, which is the reason as to why journalism, exists. It's kind of like a check on government. Why are they jailed for speaking their mind, So it's a two-tiered system, and it's a two-tiered system of injustice. That's really how I see it. And I think that this is accelerating faster and faster. And this is all fueled, at the end of the day, this is all fueled by the money printer indirectly, right? There's a reason that the wealthiest suburbs in America, in the world actually, are in Washington, D.C., a city who doesn't really have an economical output, right? This is a government city. Why are some of the wealthiest suburbs in America, in the world, located in DC? Why is that question not being asked? And the reason for that, you just use common sense. It's proximity to the money printer. That's really what this is about. And as long as you have this misalignment of incentives, as long as politicians are not being elected to do good by their constituents, they're getting elected to get as close as humanly possible to the money printer. Therefore, they benefit economically from the money printer. There's a reason that politicians like Elizabeth Warren and Nancy Pelosi are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, even though they live on a government salary. Until that system is fixed, and the way that you fix it is you separate money from state. I think that these types of injustices are going to continue to happen because the average everyday American doesn't have the ability to make these crazy donations to these DC bureaucrats. Therefore, they're not given the same protections that people that do make these crazy donations to the political class. So this is why we have to separate money from state. And that will level the playing field. That will create justice in a system where there is currently injustice. Anyways, Opti, I want to get your thoughts, and then we'll move on to Dennis.
Yeah, well, I'm going to double and quadruple down on the conspiracy-laden thoughts here. So forgive me, Nico. I have to do this anyways. It's going down right now because we're not the only ones saying this. And obviously all of us Bitcoiners friends have been saying this. I'm going to have been saying this on Twitter, but I was going to save this for the meme review. I didn't know you were putting this in the numbers. So I'm going to push it forward. Anyway, this is David Bailey. He owns Bitcoin Magazine. He goes, so let me get this straight. They sent in their goon SBF, pumped him full of money, enabled his massive Ponzi that wiped out the native industry. All the while they were preparing their own exchanges and ETFs to come in and clean up the mess. Pretty genius, to be honest. And then, of course, another one, Preston Pish, saying the same thing that all of us toxic Bitcoiners have been saying for a long time. I'm sorry, but after watching BlackRock, Fidelity, Citadel, Schwab, and now Deutsche Bank all apply for Bitcoin ETFs, spot exchanges, etc., only a few days after the SEC drops a TRO on Binance and sues Coinbase, how can't you think that this entire past year was a giant inside job coordinated between the Wall Street parasites and government regulators so they could catch up? Again, we're not the only ones saying this. Shouts out to Marty Benton. He goes, come out of nowhere, Wonder Kid, Master Trader, names arenas, celebrity endorsements on CNBC Weekly, sit down with Bill Clinton and Tony Blair, incel orgies, rug the world, usher in the need for adults in the room, the most obvious government asset in recent memory. And he's quote tweeting himself in 2022, SBF is a CIA asset. And I think we are seeing this happen in real time. The fact that, not only are the regulators, but the powers that be, the Wall Street types, the unproductive class, as we like to call them, are doing their best to try to corral the Bitcoin space, either suppress the price or rather, corner the market as much as possible. Again, a lot of us Bitcoiners have this tinfoil hat radar going off right now with this BlackRock ETF. But I mean, guys, we've been saying this for a long time. We have the blueprint played out for you guys. We lay it out almost every single day on the show. FUD Bitcoin, stack your bags, and then endorse Bitcoin, or the opposite playbook, clean up the space for my investors and for the safety of the consumer out there, and then come in and save the day, riding on their white horse. So guys, again, they do not want you holding Bitcoin. This is why it is more important than ever to not only spread the Bitcoin signal, but to take Bitcoin into self-custody. And don't give these people your Bitcoin. Do not get paper Bitcoin, guys. Like this is very simple solution to this stuff. But again, if Bitcoin cannot withstand this type of maneuvering by the unproductive class, then obviously what are we doing here? We are wasting our time, and Bitcoin was never going to get hyper Bitcoinized anyways. So it's just important to stay vigilant, but also, is this like another "we told you so" moment? Because I think we've been covering this for a long time as Bitcoiners on Bitcoin Twitter. The toxic maxis have been saying this for a long time. And I mean, guys, like once it gets to the macro guys, then it's got to be true. So it's almost like this was planned demolition over there, controlled demolition, and they just try to smear Bitcoin and the industry at large so that they can come in and save the day. So I don't know, man.
It's like they tried to smear Bitcoin so that they make sure that they have their bags filled, and they're the ones in control of the ETFs, and they're the ones who are in control of the exchanges, and then everyone else gets ostracized. Everyone else is like, no, you can't have that. It's like the big banks, which are in bed with the politicians. These are the big banks that got bailed out in 2008, even though they were like literally going to fail. Then the term came out, too big to fail. Too big to fail. That is not capitalism. That is not capitalism. There's no such thing as too big to fail in capitalism, right? So yeah, this is nuts. But at the end of the day, I put all of this blame, the price suppression blame, I do not put it on these institutions. I put it squarely on Dennis. Dennis, what do you have to say for yourself?
I thought you guys would be happy that we're keeping price low, so we distribute it more to the plebs. But I don't know.
Are you an asset? Are you an asset? Are you infiltrating the community?
I have no comment on that, but I think people should be very grateful for 58K Gang and all their efforts to basically control price. Because as you know, like I don't think we can't control it forever. That's kind of a fact at this point. But if you look at previous cycles, basically if it floats around a certain price for a longer period of time, someone mentioned in the comments, the more likely it is to just go higher than, I don't know, the previous price. So you saw it at like 6K to 3K, then hovering around 9K, and then we shot off directly to 30 something K. I think I don't know. I don't know why everyone's so upset about price not going to 6 figures or 7 figures this last cycle, but I think everyone owes 58K Gang an apology, and I want everyone to thank us for allowing you all to get as much Bitcoin as you possibly could at super cheap prices. But I'm just throwing it out there. We're trying to do our best with the whole SBF situation. So I mean, he's kind of a chill guy if you get to know him. I mean, yeah, he took all your money, but like, I don't know what the issue is here. It's just how it is. But you guys do bring up a good point. I mean, the whole solution to this is just buy Bitcoin, set up your lives the way you need to, because hopefully you'll have more free time and you'll need to spend less time working for deteriorating money. And eventually you'll be able to create communities that benefit yourselves and the people around you. So maybe you don't even need to use Bitcoin at that point. You could just barter with each other. Just have like a circular economy or something like that. Who knows? I don't know. You could try that, but I think this has been a pretty good, couple of years at 58K forever.
Yeah, man. So you put the satire on one, side, and then put the reality on the other side. A lot of coincidences, guys, happening, in a span of 2 weeks. I don't think these are coincidences. I think this is the reality. I think the big guys wanted to get their bags filled. I think the big guys wanted to be the ones in control of the exchanges. They wanted to be the ones in control of the ETFs, like it's always been, right? Hopefully, not hopefully, with Bitcoin though, things change. And the reason things change is because it allows you, the individual, to take self-custody very easily, right? You can withdraw, you could take it out of the system, something of which you couldn't do very easily and effectively and quickly with gold, right? With gold, they would have to physically mail it to you. And then, it's pretty hard to spend. Then you have to like mail it back. There's like a premium in the process. So, I think gold failed because of its physical characteristics, where Bitcoin will succeed, but only if, and this is a big only, if you really take a little bit of personal responsibility and learn how to take Bitcoin into self-custody. And I think if enough people do that, we'll win. Anyways, everybody, let's get to news. We have a lot to talk about. Let's check it out.
The Daily News.
The Daily News is brought to you by Blockstream Jade, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. It's an open source hardware wallet for the cold storage of Bitcoin. Check out the brand new limited edition color, the transparent green Jade. Blockstream Jade houses a full color camera, allowing for fully air-gapped Bitcoin transactions, scan and display QR codes directly on the device, assign transactions, and verify addresses with ease. Use your Blockstream Jade with your favorite wallet software, such as Blockstream Green, Blue Wallet, Electrum, Sparrow. Get yourself a Blockstream Jade today and take self-custody of your Bitcoin.
All right, guys, I also want to give a shout out to the Orange Pill app. They are building the social layer for Bitcoin. As crazy as it sounds, without the people, Bitcoin is just ones and zeros. Bitcoin is the people. Bitcoin is you, it's me, it's Opti, it's Dennis, it's Satoshi. Download the Orange Pill app for iOS and Android and connect with other Bitcoiners in real life today. Find other Bitcoiners that live near you, and you can go into the app totally anon and search for other Bitcoiners by common interests. Orange Pill app is also the world's biggest repository for Bitcoin-only events. If you want to meet other Bitcoiners in real life, this is the app for you. Sign up through the App Store, and you can even pay in sats. And Opti and I appreciate all the love and the messages that we're getting, and we try to respond to each and every one of them. So we appreciate all you guys. Download the Orange Pill app today. Anyways, let's get through this crazy amount of news. I read that quote right in the beginning of the show. I'm going to say it again. There are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. I think that these are definitely these last 2 weeks. This is definitely those 2 weeks where decades are happening all at once. A very strong narrative that was happening in 2018 is, the cope, because the price of Bitcoin was going down, it was crashing. We were entering into a bear market, is the institutions are coming. The institutions are coming. No, they weren't. But the institutions are definitely fucking here now. They're definitely here. That is undeniable at this point. And it's just this crazy world that we're living in where jurisdictions are competing for your business. And when that happens, people win. We saw that on a national level in the US, where we saw a lot of people fleeing New York, fleeing California, and moving to states like Texas and Florida, which are more business friendly. They don't have a state income tax. So, people are going to go to where they're treated best. And now if you incorporate Bitcoin and the internet into the mix, the internet allows you to work from wherever you want, right? You could communicate directly. You can have meetings over Zoom, right? And then also Bitcoin allows you to take your money with you very easily without having to ask a third party for permission. And remember, if a lot of people are fleeing the country, the first thing that countries do is that they impose capital controls. Look at what's happening in Argentina with the more than 100% inflation. What did the government do? They instilled capital controls. They don't want people taking money out of banks. They don't want people holding dollars. They want people holding their local currencies. But that's a whole different conversation when it's Bitcoin. When it's Bitcoin, they can't do those things, right? But only if you are the sole owner of your private keys. Then you're empowered. If you're not the sole owner of your private keys, you're not empowered. You're still trusting a third party with your wealth. And now that you have the technology, in order for you not to do that and benefit from it, you absolutely have no excuse. And take agency, take action, right? So if your family members don't know how to take self-custody, be the Uncle Jim in your family. Show them the way. Even though they might not understand it, show them the way. Take responsibility. Anyways, so I want to get through this. There's a lot of stuff to talk about today. So first, I find this absolutely fascinating. An article from the Financial Times, or as Opti likes to call it, which I think is more appropriate, the Fiat Times. HSBC and Standard Chartered pressed by Hong Kong regulator to take on crypto clients. It goes on to say Hong Kong's banking regulator is pressuring lenders, including HSBC and Standard Chartered, to take on crypto exchanges as clients, even as U.S. regulators crack down on the industry. HK, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, encouraged the banks to not be afraid. A person with knowledge of the discussion said, quote, there is resistance for a conventional banking mindset. We are seeing some resistance from senior executives at traditional banks. This month, the SEC sued Binance and Coinbase, two of the world's largest crypto exchanges, accusing them of violating U.S. securities law. Yet, in a sign of Hong Kong's enthusiasm for the sector, pro-Beijing, that's the key word there. So the CCP is behind. The CCP put its stamp of approval. Pro-Beijing lawmaker Johnny NG, who is also a member of China's top political advisory body, invited Coinbase and other crypto exchanges to set up in the city following the SEC lawsuit. Banks are, quote, are having to tread a fine line between, on the one hand, getting encouraged to support crypto and exchanges, but on the other hand, being aware of the U.S. Situation. An executive at one of the lenders said that they were torn between wanting to ensure the development of the industry if it's a policy of the Hong Kong government, and worrying that they might be taken to task on an anti-money laundering and know your customer issues, which we've known that those two issues, anti-money laundering and KYC, have been used to attack the industry in the past before. And it goes on to say, the last part of this article that I want to read, quote, everything has been done on the government side to encourage these banks to facilitate the opening of banking services to the sector. It's crazy how this is playing out. By the way, this isn't only just happening in Hong Kong. This is also happening in El Salvador. I'm a little bit more, I like the El Salvador law a lot better, because it says that Bitcoin is Bitcoin and shitcoins are securities. Shitcoins are shitcoins, right? So I think I'm more bullish on El Salvador from the Bitcoiners' perspective. I know a lot of people have strong feelings about El Salvador with Nayib Bukele's moves there, but that's my take. Anyways, this is the big news for today. Absolutely massive. And again, this is not a coincidence. They see the writing on the wall. When you have Bank of America loading up on MicroStrategy stock, when you have BlackRock announcing that they want to file a Bitcoin ETF, when you have Fidelity also loading up on MicroStrategy stock, which means that they have indirect exposure to Bitcoin. The writing's on the wall, right? You're looking at this and you're like, okay, there's a train coming. I want to get on that train. So this is absolutely massive. 1.4 trillion banking giant Deutsche Bank files for crypto custody license. The remarkable growth of the crypto market in recent years has captured the attention of numerous non-crypto financial institutions and banks, leading to a wave of mainstream adoption for digital assets. Once viewed as a niche and speculative investment, cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology are now being embraced by traditional financial players seeking to tap into the potential benefits and opportunities they offer. In that context, the latest such non-crypto financial institution that is hopping on the crypto bandwagon is Deutsche Bank, Germany's biggest lender. It goes on to say, Deutsche Bank filed an application to obtain a license for providing digital asset custody services, Bloomberg reported on Tuesday. So you have the largest bank in Germany basically saying, hey, we don't want to miss this. You could trust us, custody your Bitcoin with us. So it's like, again, it's this continuation of the trend. The big players are like, no, we want to get in. Trust us with your Bitcoin, basically. Our advice from Simply Bitcoin is trust no one with your Bitcoin. Don't trust any exchanges. Don't trust any. Look, buy Bitcoin, mine Bitcoin, and take that said Bitcoin into self-custody. Don't trust verified. Take personal responsibility. What we advocate for strongly on this show is take self-custody. That's what we advocate for. So it goes on to say, crypto exchange backed by Schwab and Fidelity goes live offering Bitcoin and Ether trading. So this is massive. Schwab and Fidelity are two massive financial institutions. And again, I do not think that this is a coincidence that this is happening in the same 2 weeks that Coinbase and Binance were sued by the SEC. BlackRock announced to file a ETF. The largest bank in Germany is basically announcing that they want to custody people's Bitcoin. And I don't think it's a coincidence that in the same 2 weeks, financial giants Charles Schwab, Fidelity, and Citadel Securities launch a trading platform on Tuesday. So EDX Markets first announced its launch plans for a non-custodial exchange in September, about 2 months before the collapse of FTX. Paradigm, Sequoia Capital, and Virtue Financial are among the early backers. The announcement comes after the announcement comes days after BlackRock filed an application to launch what would be the first spot Bitcoin ETF in the US. Confirmation that despite the crypto industry's black eye from FTX and other bad actors in 2022, the chill from US regulators this year, long-term institutional interest has not diminished. The EDS exchange allows trading of Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, none of which were named crypto asset securities in the lawsuits and securities in the SEC 2 weeks ago. The EDX has said it strives to meet, quote, meet the world's needs of the largest and most sophisticated financial institutions, many of which remain crypto curious but skeptical of centralized crypto service providers. How convenient is that, right? If it doesn't come from the big players, we have to remain skeptical. If not because of the failures of many in 2022, then because of the regulatory uncertainty the remaining players now find themselves in. To quell any fears about misuse of funds, EDX plans to operate as a non-custodial exchange, meaning that they would rather than handling customer assets directly, it will act as a platform on which a network of firms can execute and settle trades between crypto assets and fiat currencies. EDX also has plans to launch a clearinghouse business this year to facilitate the settlement process, but will still keep customer assets held at third-party banks and a crypto custodian. The company is set to announce Tuesday that it has closed a second funding round with new investors, including the options exchange operator Miami International Holdings and affiliates of proprietary trading firms DV Trading, GTS, GSR, and Hudson River Trading. So it looks like, again, I'm going to say this again, the institutions are here. It is clear as day. It's a big coincidence how they're trying to take the little guys out in the process. Now, another thing that I want to take notice of, right, is do not use an exchange that does not allow you to take self-custody. I did not see in that announcement the ability for you to withdraw. Use an exchange that allows self-custody. Obviously, we're big fans of Swan, best place to build your Bitcoin stack. They encourage self-custody. They want you to take self-custody. They want you to withdraw from the exchange. And if you don't like Swan, use an exchange that allows you to take self-custody. Because if not, then you're putting your trust in the hands of Fidelity. You're putting your trust in the hands of BlackRock. You're putting your trust in the hands of these institutions that, in the case of BlackRock, man, they were big fans of the whole ESG movement. The Larry Fink was a big fan of the Cantillionaire Conference, the World Economic Forum. You own nothing and be happy. Well, if you buy your Bitcoin, your Bitcoin with a Bitcoin ETF, or you buy your Bitcoin through Fidelity and all these places, and they're not allowing self-custody, that narrative stays true. You will own nothing and be happy. You'll think you own something, but in reality, you don't own dog shit, right? So, if you are planning to buy Bitcoin, if you are planning to earn Bitcoin, mine Bitcoin, make sure you take the time to take self-custody of that said Bitcoin. And that's how you win. And the reason that we advocate for Swan is they have an automatic withdrawal feature. Set it and forget about it. It just takes it out, takes it into your wallet. You don't even have to think about it. Set up a DCA plan. It's so easy and freaking easy to do. What does Beauty On always say, right? We have to talk about the ethical Bitcoin wallets to kind of remind people, right? So, you take self-custody, choose Sparrow, choose Electrum, choose any, there's Spectre's another good one.
Spectre, Breeze, Moon, Phoenix, Mutiny.
Exactly.
Blue.
Download any of these wallets, right?
Jade.
Download on your, download them on your desktop, download them on your mobile device. Right, get yourself a hardware wallet. Obviously, we recommend the Jade. They're a sponsor of ours, but there's plenty of good ones like Foundation, like Cold Card, CoinKite makes awesome products, and there's so many to choose from. Learn how to take self-custody. All this good news that's happening, it's great. Maybe it pushes the price of Bitcoin to go higher, but if you are not the sole owner of your keys, you're putting yourself in a position where you can, and as history has shown, you probably will get rug pulled. Stop trusting someone else with your money now that you have the technology and the capability to do so. You only have to trust yourself with your money and maybe your close family members as well, right? So overall, very, very bullish news. This is great stuff. But, you know, guys, it's only great stuff if you're correctly positioning yourself to surf this wave. You have to be the owner of that surfboard. Can't be leasing it. You can't be using someone else's custody. You got to use your own. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Opti, what's your take? And then we'll move on to Dennis.
Yeah, well, first on the Hong Kong news, it's very interesting to see China see America's policy fail around Bitcoin and shitcoin and basically do the opposite and be like, hey, you know, come here. We will endorse you. And it's just the better flag theory playing out, Bitcoin's game theory playing out, the sovereign individual thesis playing out exactly as planned and predicted. So on that note, you know, just like perfect, everything is playing exactly as we foreseed it to happen. And then, of course, all the institutions announcing that they want to get into Bitcoin right now really makes it feel, and it's what I said in the beginning, really makes it feel like the energy is shifting. And I know I hate saying this because I'm the cliche Bitcoiner, but this time really does feel different. Like, I think this bull run is going to really blow our minds to the upside. And to everyone out there that is, you know, oh, Bitcoin maxis are, or number go up enthusiasts are endorsing, you know, BlackRock or whatever kind of FUD they're going to say, Bitcoin is permissionless and was inevitable. It's just important to stay vigilant, continue to educate yourself, continue to educate other people, and, you know, go hard on the best practices so that we ensure that Bitcoin stays decentralized, that people own their Bitcoin, that Bitcoin doesn't get rehypothecated, all the things we talk about all the times. Because for those of you that have been around a few cycles and you remember how crazy things got when shitcoin started pumping, and all kinds of new people are coming in and learning about Bitcoin, I think that's going to be magnified tenfold as a shit ton of capital flows into Bitcoin. So again, I think this bull run is going to be absolutely insane, and this is just the beginning of it. And, you know, we don't want to lose the Bitcoin ethos with number go up technology. But we all know, even though we have Dennis 58K in the building, that everything revolves around number go up. So, hey, this is obviously bullish for Bitcoin, but also, you know, at what cost is this going to play out? And of course, like I said earlier, if Bitcoin can't handle the BlackRock or the institutions of the world and it doesn't get destroyed in the process, then we were never going to have hyper Bitcoinization in the first place. So I think Bitcoin is anti-fragile, as we've seen throughout the world. Obviously, stay vigilant, or rather not throughout the world, but throughout the last 15 years of Bitcoin. Stay vigilant, stay, you know, paranoid. But also, I think we can relish in the little victories of like, okay, hey, we've been right. And now the institutional money's coming in. And, you know, hey, I think Larry Fink just endorsed Bitcoin as ESG friendly technology. So let's go. Shouts out to Change the Code because they are wrecked in real time.
Anyways, Dennis, what's your take on this, brother?
Yeah, I mean, Larry and I have had multiple discussions about, you know, what we should do about price. And I mean, I saw in the comments it said 27.4. We're trying to get it to 28 right now, but that's for everyone who thinks it's not 58K. But yeah, just to keep that, make sure everyone realizes that it's always at 58K. It will always be at 58K. But I think in the long run, yeah, I mean, you're going to see people in China and I guess Russia too. There's going to be FUD, and there's going to be a lot of news about how good things are within those countries for Bitcoin and all that. It's, if you've been in here for longer than 2 years, you're going to see that they'll ban it, and then they won't ban it, and then they'll be like, oh, we didn't mean to do that. We said something else. So they're going to make it as confusing as possible for all the newcomers. And that's probably why they keep saying, oh, it's banned. Oh, no, it's not banned. We're doing all these things in Beijing and Hong Kong, etc., to bring in more people or newer people. But yeah, they're just going to keep doing that until they no longer have control over the narrative.
Yeah, 100% agree. And when are you and Larry going to allow this to take its in? When are you gonna become the 580K gang?
I think Larry wanted to get at least 58 million coins before we bring it up, so we'll figure it out as we go. But I don't think he has nearly that amount right now. So I've been telling him, it's gonna be kind of hard to get like 58 million plus coins. Maybe 58,000 coins. That might be more doable, but we'll see.
58 million coins.
58 million coins. They want everything. They want you to own nothing and be happy. Anyways, everybody, let's get to the culture. We got a lot to talk about. Let's check it out.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. All right, guys, I also want to tell you about Swan's new offer. Bitcoin is generational wealth, and you could secure your bright orange future with the Swan IRA. Real Bitcoin, no taxes. Swan offers both traditional and Roth options to best fit your needs. Create your IRA and start adding Bitcoin in less than 1 minute. Transfers and rollovers are available. Swan's Bitcoin experts will get you set up with no transfer fees and no minimum balance requirements. This is real Bitcoin, not EDF or other derivative. Get the real thing and get it at Swan. Go to swan.com/IRA for more details. If you have any questions, doubts, or concerns, please hit me up on Twitter, or you can send me a message on the Orange Pill app, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. And also, we were talking about the importance of self-custody, guys. You want to make it over the finish line with your generational wealth. And the way that you do that is properly securing your Bitcoin wallet backup seed words and passphrases. And the BitPlates Domino is the best place to do that. It's easy to use, hard to destroy, made from highly corrosion resistant 316 marine grade stainless steel, and offers the ultimate protection against extremes of temperatures. You can use the promo code SIMPLY to get yourself a 10% discount, anything on bitplates.com. Anyways, Opti, what are you talking about today, my bro?
Well, we do have a few topics here for Dennis, but I think everyone in the chat wants to know what is special about 58K, Dennis. What is 58K, gang? And why is your Twitter just nothing but 58K? And then you also have this prediction here. So what is 58K? What is so special about 58K, Dennis?
We can start with that. So I think around, what was it, April 2021, there were some pretty big accounts who were really complaining about, they consistently complained about 58K and how we weren't breaking it. We were trying to get to, I don't know, I guess 69K. I don't really understand the significance of 69K, but everyone really wanted it to be there, not 58K. So I figured, I liked 58K. I was pretty comfortable with that price. So I figured we would keep it there forever after that. And then everyone else started to say, they started to come along and say, all right, yeah, we'll do 58K forever. And yeah, it's been like that since. And I don't see it going above 58K for too long in the next, like, I don't know, 150 plus years. So yeah, that's pretty much how 58K came about.
Okay, my next question. If Bitcoin only ever gets to 58K or never gets above 58K, is Bitcoin a failure?
No, because all these pundits and ridiculous economists keep saying, oh, Bitcoin's not stable. It's not, how do I use it if it's consistently going up and down? Well, we're here to solve that with just keeping it at 58K. Pretty simple.
Genius. Okay. All right. Dude. Prime Dennis. Okay, let's
breaking tweet. Michael Saylor just tweeted out a minute ago, the window to front run institutional demand is for Bitcoin is closing, and he quote tweeted a article from the Wall Street Journal citing Citadel, Fidelity, and Schwab. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, the herd is coming. You front run these people. You front ran BlackRock. You front ran BlackRock, pleb.
You front ran 58K.
You front ran all these people. Now they're gonna want your freaking Bitcoin. Do not give it to them. Stay humble. Stack sats. The price manipulation is gonna be absolutely freaking bonkers. Don't sell your Bitcoin and take that Bitcoin into self custody. Holy cow, dude, this is crazy. This is nuts. And Opti, I think once again, I think we were first.
I think we were right again. All right. Dennis has been killing us. Guys, if you can't tell, we're being a little satirical here, but let's get serious for a moment, Dennis, because I did ask you this morning, what are some things that you'd like to talk about? So on a serious note, you said that there has been a lot of discussion around CBDCs lately. So what's your thoughts on all this? And then we have, I have some articles and stuff of what you've been working on lately so that we can get into that as well.
Yeah, sure. I know that CBDCs are basically Opti's fault, so I wanted to talk about that. I don't know, like, what, if you really think about it, what's pretty much the difference between a CBDC and the system we already have now? To me, it's the same thing. Like, it's already rolled out at this point. It's just people are starting to realize, oh, maybe, yeah, I should be getting into something like Bitcoin, because fiat right now is pretty similar to what a CBDC is already. So you might as well just move on to the next best thing, or the best thing ever, which is Bitcoin. So I don't necessarily know or understand why there's all this talk about CBDCs. It's already here.
Yeah, I'd agree with you 100%. I have one of my good friends, Mark Goodwin, say the same thing. He's like, we already have a CBDC system. All our money's already digital. It's it does feel a lot like fear porn. People like to talk about things, and it's like, oh, the tyrants are coming, and it's like, they've been here. What are you talking about? We already live in this system. We already have social credit scores. They're just abstracted in the background.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next topic. Since I think you thoroughly destroyed that one in 2 sentences. You have a way with words, Dennis, over here. The next thing you wanted to talk about, and I do have some articles over here of yours, but not one in particular on this topic, but you are a contributor on Coinbase. You do some writings over there. And you wanted to talk about why there hasn't been more people adopting Bitcoin. So what's your thoughts on this?
I think in general, it's just a certain personality type that gets into Bitcoin before, I guess, the masses, or there's mass adoption. Usually it's someone who's very open, and, the people who don't preach that they're open to anything, like, are the ones actually adopting Bitcoin at this point, versus maybe you could call them LARPers, I guess. The people who are open to everything and accepting of everyone. They're not necessarily too accepting of something like Bitcoin, because it just totally breaks the whole system that they've been incentivized to protect. So there's a lot of that's been going on. I think the key that's, at least what I've been noticing with a lot of people in my day-to-day life, is that they're getting kind of black-pilled, and that could be pretty bad depending on, like, which way you see that. But there's a good chance that they might become orange-pilled after becoming black-pilled. They kind of see, like, oh, I can't buy as much now. It doesn't matter if I work harder because the money's deteriorating all at once. They basically might end up feeling like, oh, there's no point in me learning new skills, because if I earn 20 extra K on top of my current income, well, that's going to deteriorate as soon as, I don't know, they have another, like, mass scare or something like that, or some reason to print even more money than what's already being printed. But if you can find those people in your real life, and you realize that, or you notice that they're becoming more concerned, or that they're becoming more black-pilled, or what's the term for it? They're becoming very critical of everything that's been going on. At least they're kind of waking up to what is actually happening in the system. So Opti and I have talked about this, like, maybe a couple of years ago, but you want to give them kind of like the light shill at that point. They might notice that you're maybe a bit more optimistic than them, and they'll probably wonder why you're so optimistic, or they give you a prompt of like, oh yeah, like such and such is happening in Canada, things are burning down, blah blah blah. But at the same time, you're kind of on the side of like, well, I don't know, I like I don't necessarily care for electric cars, etc. And you're not necessarily upset about the current things that are going on. They might question that, and you'll say, well, I've been using something called Bitcoin, and you kind of just ease into the conversation versus just like bombarding them with all these facts and statistics about like, oh yeah, like hash rate's up like at an all-time high, etc. Oh, like just giving them all these terms that they might not be familiar with. Oh yeah, there's only going to be 21 million. There's a hard cap. Like I'm pretty sure most people don't really know what a hard cap even means. But you kind of, nihilism. That's the word. Take the ride. Thank you. Yeah, there's been a lot of that's been going on, but I think that's the natural process of where people are going, is just becoming more nihilistic, which I think is better, in my opinion, than just accepting the way things are. Because if they're heading towards nihilism, you have an opportunity to steer them in a direction that's more hopeful. But it really depends on the person. Like if they're a bit more open than most other people, then it's going to be easier to orange pill them at that point.
Love it. Let's someone here in the chat, Skip Onward, says what is black pilled? And that's basically what Dennis was just talking about.
Yeah, nihilism.
Nihilism. And instead of taking the red pill and opening your eyes and knowing that you need to change, it's like you eat the black pill and you like feel hopeless, like there's nothing going on, there's no way out of this. But you do some bunch of writings for Coinbeast. And I think this one might be fitting. I have a few of your articles here. This one is why Bitcoin is in a bubble. You have, can another cryptocurrency replace Bitcoin, and the most common misconceptions. But since we are getting into the stage where new people are coming, do you think, you kind of mentioned it a minute ago, of the idea that those that adopt Bitcoin have like a certain personality, but I kind of have this new thesis, like moving forward, that it's becoming easier and easier for more people to adopt Bitcoin. And like this title is called, why Bitcoin isn't a bubble. Do you think moving forward, as number goes up, that people will have to study Bitcoin as much as we do, or will it just become that much simpler for people to understand as it becomes synonymous with just living in the digital world, in the internet world that we live in?
Yeah, it'll definitely become easier. There were a lot of people actually that I met at the Bitcoin conference this past, back in May, by Bitcoin Magazine. So a lot of them were pretty much orange pilled within, I don't know, less than a year. Like class of 2021, class of 2022, they got it really quick because of all the resources that are out there now. And I think that's amazing. It's going to get to the point where you don't have to have multiple touches with Bitcoin. You'll just, if you've never, I don't know, like if a child grows up in a world where Bitcoin's a bit more mainstream, they don't need 3+ touches or interactions with Bitcoin to be like, oh, maybe I should look into this and actually take it seriously. It'll just be a way of life at that point. And I think it's getting closer and closer to that. It's just like the internet. They'll just, I mean, it's been said multiple times that people just use it and they don't actually know that, they have to get internet from an ISP or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, I'm laughing at the chat over here. We have one question here, Dennis. Elaine asks, your real last name Sat, bro. Your name is literally a meme. Were you born a Bitcoiner, or actually, it's a chicken or the egg question? Are Bitcoiners born, or are they created? And I mean, your last name is literally Sat, bro. Like you couldn't make up the meme. No wonder you are 58K gang.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I guess I don't know. Like every Bitcoiner that will tell you that they've been prepped to become a Bitcoiner, and maybe some are more so prepped than others. But eventually, we all end up in the same place of saying, "Well, this is the better system. Let's just stay here."
Yeah, 100%. Well, Dennis, guys,
Breaking
go check
news.
it. Oh, wait, before we go on, who is it? Chad goes over here. Simply Bitcoin, the only show that trolls its host. Let's go. Guys, go check out Dennis on Twitter. Go check him out on Coinbase. He's got all kinds of writings. I think this is kind of the point that we bring on not only Bitcoin content creators from around the space, but our friends. And I think this is the point where I tell you guys the message that I say all the time. This is the importance of spreading Bitcoin signal, because like you said it yourself, Dennis, and I've noticed this as well. I think the newer Bitcoiners have an easier time of becoming Bitcoiners because of the magnitude and the excellence of the Bitcoin only content that has been created since we got into space. So kudos to you, bro. Everyone go check them out. But Nico, I know we're at an hour, but we have to get to the memes or else I'm going to literally.
No, we're doing memes. We're doing memes.
Okay. Doing memes. Let's go. Let's get to the memes.
All right, let's jump into the memes. Let's do it.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Kaboom Racks. I get this question all the time. Nico, where should I buy Bitcoin miners? The answer is Kaboom Racks. It's the best place to buy Bitcoin miners. That's where you're going to find the best deals and the best prices. Start your mining utopia today. To check out their racks, you got to go to t.me/Kaboom Racks. Join their Telegram group and start your mining journey today. Kaboom Racks.
Kaboom Racks.
All right, guys. Well, you already know the deal. This is the meme review where you guys send us the memes and we cover them live. So tag me on Twitter or send them in our Telegram group and I will find them and I will bring them on the show. Of course, tweets are the bullets, memes are the artillery. We are in an information war. So as we just covered a minute ago, continue to spread the signal. Wake up your friends. Ridicule the corporate press.
Shout out to Cos. That's just fucking hilarious.
And keep your friends humored so that their morale stays up, because it does get dark out there and people do get black-pilled. And this is part of the journey of making sure that people keep their heads on straight and know what we are battling for. And as we've been talking about in Twitter Spaces for a while, I think now is a good time to ask yourself, what are you here for? Because, the institutions are at the gate. And what do you want to do here? Are you here just to get rich? Are you here to separate money from state? This is what memes are about. This is what everyone should be asking themselves at this moment. Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox for today. First meme is by our boy BTC Kaz, and he goes, "Bring it BlackRock, #GetForked." And we got this giant little cat with laser eyes and laser coming out of its paws, and it goes, "My node," and then everyone running out of the ocean, and it's a Bitcoin hard fork. Back to everyone thinking that BlackRock is going to come into the space and try to hard fork the network. Anyways, this next meme on yesterday's show, shouts out to Bitcoin_Ader. And this is the classic gun meme gun behind the person. So we got Coinbase, and then we got the girl behind her with the gun, and it's SEC. And then behind her is BlackRock. And then with the sniper, it is the self-custodying Bitcoin maxis. This is the way. Okay, this next one, shouts out to Darth in our Telegram group. I really like this one. I was going to put this one yesterday next to the fact that the U.S. government's printed $7 trillion. It would have hit a little harder, but I added some other memes here. And we got a bald ego in a cage, and it says, this is his thoughts. I should have voted harder. If you guys know anything about this show, we ridicule the idea of just vote harder, guys. You can change it from the inside, guys. Just vote the right politician in, man. Just vote harder. No. Fix the money, fix the world. Okay, this next meme is by Maxie's Club, and it goes, 4:30, we are not the same. And we got two stands here. One says, when to buy, when to sell. This is to all you tea leaf reading, TA group leaders on Twitter that are trying to corral you and make you pay them for their signals. He goes, I buy Bitcoin to have more dollars. And then we have the Bitcoiners over here that says study Bitcoin on his side. He goes, I buy Bitcoin to have less dollars. And we got the noob Bitcoiner that's calling the fiat maxi a noob. We are not the same. We dump our fiat as quickly as possible. Capitulate your fiat and stack them sats.
Capitulate your fiat. That's right. I love that.
This is the way. Okay, this next meme is
the way.
By the BTC therapist, and it goes, nothing beats proof of work, #BTC. And we got the Atlas Shrug meme here, the play on it. I think it's, no. I forget. It's Siphius, I think. Forgive me for my not knowing Greek mythology. Anyways, we got a Bitcoiner with laser eyes pushing the Bitcoin logo up the hill. And it goes, Bitcoiners are built different because nothing beats proof of work. This next bull run is going to be
Shout out to the therapist, bro. Shout out to the therapist. By the way, for anyone who doesn't know, therapist is part of the Simply Bitcoin team. He's the chief. He's the chief meme officer behind all the freaking crazy memes dropping from the Simply account. So shout out to you, brother.
This next one is by our boy Chris Alamo, producer for Bitcoin Mag, and he's quote tweeting Odell that says, "It has been an absolute pleasure front running BlackRock with you all. Stay humble and stack sats." And Chris Alamo did the classic Padme Anakin Skywalker meme, and he goes, "Me, stay humble, stack sats." And we got BlackRock as Padme and goes, "You're gonna sell me your Bitcoin now, right?" And he does the smile and smirk. Wait. You're going to sell me your Bitcoin now, right? No, we are not. Do not get wrecked in the HODL buyout zone because they are coming for your Bitcoin. HODL those Bitcoins to infinity and beyond. Anyways, this next Bitcoin meme is by Toxic Bitcoiner, and he goes, "Cry harder." And we have two pictures here. We have perception, Bitcoin being a small portion of crypto, which is its own bubble. And then we got fiat, which is its own circle. And then we have gold being its own thing as well on the side. When in reality, there is Bitcoin and there is shitcoins. And the shitcoins include the standard shitcoin that is your favorite shitcoin that is on a crypto shitcoin casino, as well as the fiat currencies, as well as gold. If it is not Bitcoin, it is a shitcoin. Anyways, this last meme is by Meming Bitcoin. And it goes, "What are you backed by?" And we got a Bitcoin here, and it goes, "I am not backed by anything. I am the one who backs everything. Everything will get repriced in Bitcoin, in sats. This is the way. Do not sell your Bitcoin for measly paper money, for fiat currencies, or else you're not going to make it through to the promised land, and you can have fun staying poor." Anyways, drop your meme review score in the chat as we cover ours live. Okay, mine is this toothpick jar with a bow tie. Oh, it's green. It's invisible.
Ooh,
invisible bow tie.
Invisible bow tie. I'm gonna give it one of my favorite Bitcoin conferences of the year, the Pacific Bitcoin hat. It's the Pacific Bitcoin Festival this year. We have a promo code for you guys. You could use promo code SIMPLY to get 20% off your tickets to the Pacific Bitcoin Festival. Opti and I are going to be there. It's going to be a great old time. Hope to see you guys in Los Angeles, California. Anyways, Dennis, what would you give those memes?
So I recently, my fiat wallet broke. So I figured I might as well just use a binder clip as my new fiat wallet. So if you have a fiat wallet at this point, and you're not buying something like a Jade or a Seed Signer, you're pretty much short Bitcoin.
I like that. I like that. It's very, very wise words from Dennis. Anyways, everybody, before we get to the live chat scores, I want to give a very, very, very special shout out from our clothing sponsor. Opti and I wear the merch every single day. RepresentLTD.com. I'm wearing the camo grenade. Represent grenade. I call it a freedom grenade. And Opti it's a metaphorical grenade, just so you know, YouTube. And Opti is wearing the decentralized core. It's a little nod to Bitcoin and the classic Simply Bitcoin hat. You can get all this stuff on representltd.com. Use promo code simply-bitcoin. Also, breaking news: Opti is speculating Chrissy is upset. Anyways, everybody, let's get to the live chat. Let's pull up some memes. Opti, let's do this, bro. But first, cue the epic music. Steve Dre. Meme score, 1 Iranian Ryle coin. Okay. You mean shitcoin. Phil C, I give the memes 58K as a distant memory. Oof. Oof. Elaine.
I guess Dennis meme will not have longevity and this will be a niche meme.
Elaine, hated BlackRock's paper Bitcoin sends millions to real Bitcoin in self-custody. Beautiful, beautiful. Roman, meme score, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? All right, Igor, I give the memes the stack every day from 58K. Okay, I love that, love that. Next one, Bitcoin for Canadians. 58K is the new 3K. I give the memes Breaking Bad confidence to all the hodlers. Love that, love that. HODL coin, I give the memes a non-custodial private key for BlackRock. Middle finger. Take the ride, I give the memes 1 sat bot at 58K. Very, very, very nice. Victor Salazar, I give the memes, quote, it's staying at 58K forever, Laura.
Okay, Nico, this one is PG. Just don't read the name.
All right. Opti's desire for BlackRock. 58 million Bitcoiners is possible with BlackRock ETF. UTXO. I give the memes 1 Bolivar banknote from Venezuela. Another shitcoin. All right. Are we buzzing it? Are we buzzing it? All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to join Simply Bitcoin's Telegram group. We're almost at 1,000 people. Shout out to Darth Coin for holding it down, and check out the written version of this show. Go to simplybitcoin.news. Shout out to Sir Ulrich. He just dropped an awesome article on our Simply Bitcoin Substack. And also, if you guys feel so inclined to help us support the show, subscribe to our Substack, even though everything we do is free. You know, if you feel so inclined, we really, really appreciate it. Also, we want to give a shout out to our awesome guest today. Thank you so much for joining us today, bro. Appreciate it. Also, at the same time, fuck you for 58K. I wanted to go a lot higher than that, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, and you know, someone has to work with Larry Fink, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to him. We'll talk about it, but no promises. But yeah, thank you so much, Nico and Opti, for having me on. It's always fun. It's always fun.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Dennis has some of the best humor on Bitcoin Twitter. You guys could follow him at Satoshi Dennis on Twitter if you want to find him. I'm sure he's on Nostr as well. Dennis, it's been an honor. Thank you so much for joining us on Simply Bitcoin Live today. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Consider subscribing if you feel like we provided you value. But the number one thing you could do to help push the peaceful Bitcoin revolution forward is share this content. In fact, share all Bitcoin content. Don't be exclusive. Be inclusive. Don't share shitcoin content. That's counterproductive. Like the best producer in the game always says, don't shitcoin. It's bad for you. Love you all. We'll be back tomorrow, 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. Peace out.
Today was fun. Fun show over here with Dennis. I think he trolled out the chat a little too much, and maybe I'm have a little PTSD because I don't know if people catch the sarcasm on the show all the time because we're so serious most of the time that when we're sarcastic, it might go over people's heads. Anyways, you already know the deal. This is a Bitcoin-only space by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. So come up here, add your 2 sats to the conversation. Do not be shy. We want to hear from you guys on Twitter Spaces. So I do see some friends. If I have to pick on you guys, I will. But come up here, add your 2 sats to the combo, and we will keep the show going on Twitter. Anyways, I kind of want to go back to the numbers for a moment. If you guys were here for the numbers, thank you, Dennis. I see your chat.